Allah, today we'll be looking into discussing the secret of Quran letters. I'm super excited to be with you all today. I want you all to pay attention, sit somewhere and get a notebook. If you've just joined us today and this is your first time listening to our webinar, every Sundays we do it. We learn and teach the Quran Tajweed together here and practice together. So if you're really interested to have live session with me like this and be in the Zoom call, like all the students who are in our Quran Fluency Accelerator course, so click the link below to actually sign up to our Quran Fluency Accelerator course and to get started and have all the systematic approach of Quran Tajweed so you can learn to recite in the next 4 months or less, inshallah. So today, we're going to discuss the second, still the first module of the Quran Fluency Accelerator course that we started last week. We started last week talking about the Makharij, meaning where the letters of the Quran are being articulated from. Today, inshallah, we'll be looking into how the letters change forms. And this is really a foundation of Quran learning that if you are someone that's excited and willing to learn to recite the Quran yourself, you don't want to just be able to listen to recite from the mouth of your teacher. You want to go ahead and read yourself and have the foundation so you can teach other people as well, inshallah. So let's get started to discuss the secret of the Quran letters in terms of when they change their shapes and transform into different shapes. Plus, we'll look into some rules of Quran letter forms today as well, inshallah. So let's get started. So just type one in the chat there in the comments if you're really excited about this video. You want to join us in the Quran Fluency Accelerator course, or you just kind of want to learn more about our program, and so you can recite the Quran yourself fluently with confidence. Your kids, your child can also do the same thing as well. Our program is designed for that, inshallah. So let us know if you have any question as we move on into this discussion today. For those of you who actually known about this program but yet to sign up, take action right now. Click the link to sign up into the Quran Fluency Accelerator course for just $47 so you can get started and get this video lessons already structured and automated. You can have quizzes, have homework practice, and as well have a one-on-one session live with me aside from the group session. The one-on-one session will be at your own pace, at your own convenience. So let's talk about this, the Quran letters. And the secret is what I want to show you today. You might be wondering, what's the secret I want to share with you about Quran letters? So I'll talk about this, secret of how the letters, which is going to be three secrets that you need to know. And also, you need to know some rules of these letters when they change forms and what happens to them, how they get pronounced, what, thing will happen to those letters when they're connecting. So we'll talk about that. Like you all understood from last week's discussion, we'll talk about the makharij of the Quran letters. We'll talk about where the letters do articulate from. The letters of Quran have five, regions of the mouth which serve as the member, serve as the source, of the letters. And of course, from each, region of the mouth, we have different articulation points from those regions of the mouth. There are 29 Tajweed letters. So Hamza and Alif, these are the two letters that have bone of contention, but it's very evident that Hamza comes from a different part of the mouth to get pronounced from the halq, the bottom of the halq, the bottom of the throat, while the alif, it's used for mid, it's used for elongation, it comes from the jawf, the oral cavity. So as you can see on my screen here, we're showing the letters when they're actually in different forms. Letters of the Quran, when they're on their own, you can see them on the right there. But when these letters now change their forms, be it they be in the beginning of words or in the middle of words and also at the end of words. So these are the three secrets you need to understand today and know this for good and forever. So the Quran letters, they're secret when they're actually in the beginning of a letter, when they are in the middle of a letter, and when they are at the end of a letter. They change forms and might even change their shape, but they'll still have the same sound. So you need to understand that and be able to identify that completely and correctly. So the alif will change its forms whenever it's in the middle of a word, depending on what letter comes before it. If it's a letter that can connect to it, it will connect and come after that letter. So here now, alif on its own in the middle of many words, in the beginning of a lot of words, is going to have this. So meaning it's not going to connect to anything. Most often when alif is in the beginning, it doesn't connect to anything. When they're in the middle of a word, they have two behavior. They can either connect or not. Okay, they can either connect or not. They will connect if the letter that comes before them is a letter that they can connect to. But if the letter that comes for them is a letter that cannot be connected to, they will be on their own as well. And we'll show you those 6 letters that do not connect to anything after them. So when alif is on its own, it's be like this, like an alif, like a one. But the moment alif is in the beginning or in the middle of a word, it can change the shape. It can either connect or not. When alif is connecting in the middle of a word, this is how it look like. So alif is one of those naughty letters that we're going to learn later on today. The naughty letters of the Quran. These letters do not connect after them. So alif is one of them. You see, this alif here is connecting to a letter before it, and no letter can come after the alif. Okay, so this is also in the end of the word. It can be like this whenever a letter that comes before it is a letter that can connect to letters after them. You see, out of all the 29 Quran Tajweed letters, just 6 of them cannot connect to any letter after them. They cannot. They cannot connect to any letter after them. Okay, some said 7 because of this round ta that cannot connect as well to anything after it. Okay, so those 6 or 7 letters, let's call them that way, when they are written, nothing will come after them that will connect them. Nothing will connect them. So nothing will come after them. You can have a lot of stuff connecting before them, but they will not have any connection afterwards. We'll list those 7 letters today, okay? But you see, alif can have itself connected in the middle of a word with some other letter before it, or it will not connecting if the letter that comes before it is among those 7 letters that do not connect. We'll give them some examples today. Like for instance, now if you have an alif, you have a dal, for instance. Let's use an example. You have a dal and you have an alif in the word dar, right? Dar. So this is a dal, and so dal is among the letters that will not connect after it. Nothing can connect it after it. And alif also will not connect to anything after it. So here now, an alif is in the middle of a word, and as such, nothing will connect to it. You see, in the middle. But sometimes alif can be in the middle of a word, but still getting connected. Look at this one here. You call, right? So this is now alif here and now. So you call or you call. So this is a ya, is a qaf. This is an alif in the middle here. In the middle, but you see it's getting connected. So that's why I'm saying the alif can get connected in the middle of a word or not. So when you see alif in the middle of a word, it can either be separate or connected to a letter before it. Okay? And so look at all those letters. Before the end of this talk, I'll summarize this out and give you those 7 letters that when you see them, you need to be aware of them. They're not connecting to anything after them. So this is the ba. The ba is pretty very easy and simple. You don't need to really stress too much because we already learned about the ba. The ba has just a dot and it doesn't have any other thing else. So it's a plate and has a dot at the bottom. So it can change in the middle of a word, which it's gonna have the same shape, just that it might lose this round part, the closure. In the beginning, it can lose the round part to connect to other letter. The back can have the complete structure back at the end of a word. And you see the ta, we have 2 kind of ta. We have the round ta and the open ta. This open ta, meaning they're not round, they're not closed. Okay, so a tile will be like this in the beginning of a word, in the middle of a word. At the end of a word, it can look this way. And sometimes when ta is used to represent femininity, it can have a word that's used to represent femininity can have this kind of ta. They call it ta'nith. They call it at-ta'u at-ta'nith. At-ta'nith. So ta'nith is the ta of femininity, and it's used mostly at the end of words. So if they want to say, bikr mean, maybe like the eldest part of the family, or they can say bikra, meaning like the oldest female of the family, you know. So this ta can also be used what it's time. It has its own peculiar rules when we learn that in the next module when we're going to be talking about when to stop on letters. We'll learn how to do this ta ta marbut whenever you have it at the end of words. Okay, so we have a tha as well. Okay, a tha, and then a tha here, a tha. So they pretty much look the same thing. The jim, it's a very finicky letter, but it's very easy. Sometimes we're going to do some example next week, which will be what we'll use to round up the session on letters. So we'll be able to identify difficult letters in the Quran words. How some letters look like that will throw you off when you see them in the Quran. We'll show you and we'll do some quiz, inshallah, on that next week. So this is a tha. It looks very easy to identify. The jim, a letter, the jim has this shape in the beginning of words, in the middle, at the end of words, and the ha. So the difference is only the dot. So the ha has no dot. The jim has one dot at the bottom, and then we also have these other letters. So the kha, the same thing as the jim and the ha. The only difference is that it has its own dot on the top instead of the bottom like the jim. Okay. So you also have here the dal. So the dal, see the dal, the dal. So the dal, one thing you should see here, the dal is not connecting after it like the alif. Likewise, the zal, it's not connecting after. So you're not seeing the two connections like the one that the kha has, yeah? So these are the naughty letters which we'll summarize. So the naughty letters, they are 7. So some say 6, but I think it's 6. The other letter, which is the ta, can have two forms. So the round form of the ta is going to be counted as a naughty letter as well because it's not connecting after it. But the major ones are alif, the dal, the zal, the ra, the zain. All right, you see alif, dal, dal, ra, zain, right? These letters, you see, they're not connecting to anything after them. Nothing can get connected after them. Okay, and so hold on to this lesson because when we get to the practice next week, we'll be able to actually do some practice together and able to identify the letters correctly. So this is a dal, the ra, the zain. You see now going to sin, the sin has the two connections, meaning it can connect before and after in the middle of the word. Whereas the dal, the ra, the zain, they cannot connect after them. They cannot connect after them. Okay, and then when you go and check other letters as well, you see all the other letters can connect after them. I'll not go too much into those. So this is a sod, this is a sod as well. So these are all these letters. So the ain here, for instance, now can connect both ends. Look at the ain, right? So these letters, you're familiar with all this, the line, the brother of ain. So already mentioned 5 letters now that do not connect after them. So if you go and check the other letters of the Quran, you see all other letters, they can connect before and after them. The fa can connect, the kaf. You see the kaf here looks different in the beginning of a word, in the middle of a word. So check for that and the kaf as well. Look at this one here. The lamb, something really very special about the lamb. You see the lamb, unlike the alif, a lot of students make this confusion. The lamb can connect both ends, unlike the alif, which can only connect before it. The lamb, so when you see a word, let's say you see this word, ba, bala, okay? This word here right now, the lamb is here. You see, it's connecting to nothing, but the alif is after the ba, okay? Or you see the other letter here. See, let's see this one here. So this word is what? This is tilka. Tilka. You see now the lam here is connecting at both ends. So this will never be an alif. Some student will make the mistake and say this is an alif. No, this will be a lam because it's connecting at both ends, right? So the lam can connect at both ends, but you see the alif cannot connect. So when you see something like this, do not make mistake of calling this an alif because you already see it's connecting at both ends, so it's gonna be a lam. When you see this, you know this is an alif because it's not even connected to the letter after it. Okay, so the lam can connect at both ends, so it's not among the naughty letters. Okay, and then look at the meme as well. Very easy to identify. And look at the last slide, which is what we're going to use to round up the talk today. Look at the noun here. The noun might very look like a zal in the beginning of words. A lot of students will make this mistake and call this one a zal, but the difference between the noun in the beginning and the zal is that the noun will connect to anything after it. So if you see something, the noun, if it's connecting to something, like it has something connecting after it. But if you see separate, you know, without having to have anything after connecting it, although there's a letter after but it's not connecting, you know that's a the. But when you see it's connecting to something, never call this one a the. Some students make mistake of that. They'll say thou. No, this is the thou itself. This one is the thou. This one can be no, right? This one is thou, right? This can be no. Why? Because the no will connect to something after it. Okay? But the thou will not. You see, so always take note of that difference, and that's why it's really important to understand the secret of these letters. The other letter that does not connect to letter after it is the wa. You see, the wa will not connect to anything after. Look at all the letters in this on this slide. They all have both connection before and after, except the wa, except the wa. So to summarize those naughty letters that do not connect after them, there are six of them. The seventh one, which is the ta al-marbuta, which we mentioned earlier, is a form of ta that does not connect after, that is used to denote femininity. That is the ta al-marbuta, the one we showed earlier here, right? This is the seventh one. People, scholars say the letters that do not connect. But generally, ta can connect to any other letter before, after it, and before and after, for the exception of the ta al-marbuta, which is the round ta. So let's kind of recap that. The letters that do not connect after them, the naughty letters. So let's recap them. There are seven naughty letters that do not connect after them. The seventh one is a special case of ta, right? So the first one is an alif that does not connect after. The, right? The dal, the ra, the zain, the wa. Okay? So alif, dal, the, ra, zain, and wa. Okay, the seventh letter is the ta al marbuta, which is the round ta. Ta naturally will connect to something after it, except for the ta al marbuta. So that's why the ta is not naturally put as part of the naughty letters, but it's a letter to be understood that whenever you see the round ta, nothing will come after it, nothing will connect after it, like we showed earlier. Okay, so that will be the lesson from from today's session, that there are six naughty letters in the Quran. These letters, they're stubborn, they don't connect to anything after them. The alif, the da, the, ra, zain, and wa. So those are those six letters. Naturally, all the time, في كل وقت وحين in the Quran, words, they will not connect after them. They can have something connecting before them, but never after. Never after them. The only exception is the round star as well, that will not connect after it. Nothing is going to connect after it. Okay, so this is really important lesson that you can go back to this lesson and watch this video back. Next week, inshallah, we'll go through and do some exercise with some words from the Quran. And this is exactly how we teach students in our program. They learn the basics, they practice, they do a quiz. So if you want to join me live every Sundays, so just come to the YouTube channel and learn with me every Sundays. But if you want to have a personalized discussion and interact with me every Sundays in the Zoom like this, join our Quran Fluency Accelerator course. So you have access to the Zoom link to join me live like this every Sundays. And plus you have the learning modules of all the curriculum to get you to recite the Quran fluently yourself, and you have the quizzes and practice to follow through with that. And you can have a one-on-one session as well to have a more detailed guidance and explanation with you, maybe once in a week or once in a month. So you can choose those options. Just click the link below this video to sign up to our Quran Fluency Accelerator course if you're really excited to become a fluent Quran reciter. So click the link below this video right there. You see the Quran Fluency Accelerator course. Sign up into that and get started in this course right away, so you can learn to recite the Quran yourself in the next 4 months, inshallah, or less, with this method that we've used for the last, I'll say, 5 years or more than 5 years now for adults and teenagers. So get started and get into the program today. I'll see you next week, inshallah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.